Hi guys, welcome to Irish Footy Vlogs and welcome to another Premier Division preview show. 5 games again this weekend, guys. We'll start off with the first one, which is Waterford FC against Bohemians. Only a point between them in the table, Cian, but Bows, they might be getting into gear. What do you think?
Yeah, look, massive win last week. I think it shut a lot of people up. Gonna go for Bows to win this. I just think, they won hard last week. They played very well, and it's a chance to back it up now and get 6 points on the board. So, I'm going to say, well, I know they have obviously drawn a game. I mean, 2 wins on the board in 2 weeks in a row would be great for them. So, I'm going to say Bows will win it. I can't say it being easy. I think Waterford are just going to give everyone a decent game, but I think Bows' quality will shine through the game, and I just think a few moments of brilliance. Like Bows, they still have players. I don't think people are actually giving them the credit they deserve, and they still have some top class players, and even on the bench, like Bastian Hurdy and stuff like that is not even in the team. And if you have quality like that on the bench, how good is the starting 11? That's what I'm saying. And I think people need to give them that little bit of respect again. I think they lost that for some reason over the last couple of months, even towards the back end of the season. They kind of lost that little bit of these balls are coming, and I think that they deserve to have that back.
I think it's almost like because there's more of an expectation, I think. Is it? Maybe people are thinking that way or something.
Yeah, but you look at the players and, you look at how young they are and you look at how well they're doing and how good they're punching above their weight. And still, Bows finishing second or third this year is still punching above their weight. That isn't Bows. Bows shouldn't be there. And I'm saying that in the nicest possible way to Bows. It's excellent to see them there, but they're punching above their weight every single year.
It's the way they run, isn't it? That's the thing. They run brilliantly, aren't they? Yeah.
Do you lose a player? Someone else comes in, you have Dawson Devoy, you have Tierney, you have players coming out of their ears, really, really good players, and they just have a knack of getting these young talent in, and that young talent is just as good as the next one. And I think Bows are in the best position, I feel, them and Shamrock Rovers, in terms of what they have at their disposal coming through the ranks. I think Bows getting the new DCU campus and stuff like that. It's going to bring so much. And I think them 2 teams, Bows and Rovers, are really setting the bar for how a club should be run off the pitch. And 100%. I think that, I know you say, off the pitch and on the pitch, 2 totally different things. But if you're doing stuff bad off the pitch, you can see it on the pitch without even wanting to, and we've seen it. You look at Pats now in 4 weeks, 5 weeks, it could change. But Pats off the pitch have been immense in the last couple of months. And I think it shows on the pitch. And now last year probably we got a bit of stick for laying off players and stuff like that. And I think it relied back a little bit. And you can understand that completely. So that what I'm trying to say is if you have a positive environment around you all the time and everyone's pulling in the right direction, look, what Bows do off the field is nothing to do with football and bleeding ego cars or something like that. It's not going to make
stuff
any
I find
difference.
A little bit, but
it's not going to make any difference, but it creates positivity. I think they're catching everyone there, and I know I'm jumping a little bit, but what I'm saying is people that couldn't give a shit about the environment don't care that they're doing eco cars and stuff like that. But then people that do, actually look into it and be like, look at this, doing this and that. So they're catching everybody under this one roof. And I think, it's very smart because, I'm not going to knock out the Bows because the man just driving an eco car. But someone might turn around and say, you know what I mean? So it's very clever what they do and the marketing and how they put towards it. So, a big well done to them. When you think of it, where the club were to where they are now, and it's very scary to think, these are a club and they're going places. But, I think on the pitch, they're going to get it right this year and they're going to win this game.
Yeah, JP, I mean, to touch on Waterford there, in fairness, a strange start to the season for them because they've kind of battled in every game, haven't they, JP? But I look at them and there's something missing. Maybe it's that bit of quality. I don't know. But how do you see them faring against Bohemians this weekend?
I think they'll put up a good fight, like they have done in their
Yeah.
4 games so far. As their first 3 games, I saw them for 90 minutes because they were 2 was on TV and the other was against Derry. Against Drogheda, as the game went on, Drogheda got stronger and stronger, but Waterford still were hard to break down. Against Sligo, they went behind, and only for 2 world-class finishes. Sligo might never have scored in that game, but even when they went behind, they still kept their heads up, and they still got at Sligo in the second half. Was it Witt played on the wing a couple of times, got in behind, drilled a few balls across the box, and unfortunately, there was just nobody there in the 6-yard box. They tap it in, and that's the kind of things you need at this level. As players getting in on the end of things, taking a gamble. Against Derry, they literally, I think, had 2 shots at goal and scored with 2 goals. But that's what happens in football. They Brian Murphy to thank for the one because he pulled off save after save. Although they did restrict Derry to huffing and puffing, but I'll give them that. Last week I didn't see much of their game against Harps. I just saw.
It was actually quite similar, JP, to be honest, to the Derry game in terms of Waterford didn't create an awful lot, and Finn Harps had most of the opportunities, and probably Finn Harps should have won the game before they did as such. So a very similar kind of style performance. And I think one of the issues for Waterford is they're kind of chopping and changing their striker a little bit. I think they should stick with someone like John Martin, let's say, for 5 games and see how they go. Like Darren Murphy, I'm sorry, but he can't move anymore. Honestly, I mean, he's had injuries and that, and he missed a good chance against Harps, but it's all right saying Darren Murphy and players like that, but he just can't move.
I think he was signed last year basically to try and add probably experience to the team, and in a normal season he was you probably turn around and say he was signed to get bums on seats. An Irish international coming back. He's a homeboy. He was at the club before he went across. They was at West Ham. He went there to start with, and it's probably he wants to prolong his career as well. And fair play to him. He wants to see out his career at his hometown club. And I wouldn't knock him for that. And I wouldn't knock Waterford for having him. But it's just like a touchdown there, like of James Wade putting balls across the 6-yard box. Darrell 10 years ago probably would have got on the end of them because but now it's basically probably needs somebody up along with him where he can bring them into play and stuff like that. What we saw, if what you said Waterford done against Finn Harps was similar to what did against Derry, we'll probably see the same against Bows. They'll probably try and soak up a pressure and hopefully get a goal on the counter or from a set piece or something like that, which was how their goals came against in the last 2 games. And in Bows, I think Bows were just a matter of time of getting a win under their belt, and I got the feeling that once they did, they're going to kick into gear, and I hope my feeling's right, and I think they will kick into gear, and I think now the time is to be worried if you're Pats or Sligo, the teams that are looking to challenge Bows for that second spot. I think the time is now to be worried because I think Bows will now start to kick into gear, and we'll see what we've seen from the last couple of years.
Great, I think they'll win. I think they might win comfortably in the end as well. Brandywell, Derry City take on Drogheda United, and obviously Derry are still bottom of the league. We'll touch on obviously last night's game against Shamrock Rovers. Drogheda 5th with 7 points. 7 points between Derry and Drogheda, which is mad when you think about it. It really is a big game. I'll start with JP with this one actually. It really is a big game for Derry. They need to, at the very least, JP, get a point here, you feel, don't they?
Before we start about this game, can I just pass on my best wishes to young Derry City fan Caleb, who went through brain surgery there on Monday. As far as I'm aware, he's doing well, and hopefully he continues on the right track. And hopefully Derry City can give him 3 points to celebrate on Friday night. I think they have to get at least 100 out of this game. They have to. They can't start the season with 5 defeats from 5, and three of those at home. It's live in RT. Last night, I was happy last night despite losing 2-0. I thought we were well in the game for 35, 40 minutes. we had the best chance of the game. We had the post with it, albeit it came from a mistake. But look, that was happening at the other end in our games. I think last night we were beat by 2 moments of brilliance. The first one was a brilliant team goal. It was brilliantly worked out, well worked. Gardside's unfortunate. There's not enough of pace on the shot that he can get enough. They push it wide enough. And fair play to Rory Gaffney. He was the quickest to react, and he squeezed it in from a tight angle. I know Gardside's got stick for the second goal, but I'm not going to be, because from where he started is where normally a goalkeeper probably would be when the ball's in the opposition half. And there's probably 1 or 2 players in this league that can do what Graham Burke did and execute it to perfection. And I'm not going to fault them for that, because I think what we saw from the start of the season is Nathan's a good shot stopper. If he can iron out other wee things of parrying the ball wide and out, and rather than maybe back into danger and stuff like that, he will be a good keeper for us. But I thought the best 2 players on the pitch for us last night was the 2 youngsters making their debut, Ronan Boyce and Brendan Barr.
I thought Boyce in particular, actually, in my personal opinion, did very well. Yeah,
Ronan Boyce played as a 19-year-old, and he looked like somebody that was 29-year-old. He picked the right moments to get forward. He knew when it was right to go forward, and he knew when he got forward that he had to get back, and he got back. And there was very rarely did Rovers get in behind him. And Brendan Barr as well was fantastic. He harassed the Rovers players for the length of time he was on, and I think what we saw last night from Derry with the likes of Kevin Porter and Patrick Ferry and all coming on is what we're going to probably see over the next 3-4 years, as these guys being brought into the team. And if we can get a few wins together this season, and maybe finish, I don't even want to think about relegation, but if we can finish, say, around 6th or 7th with these guys in the team, and they've got a 1 year under their belt, then next year they'll be better for it. But I think last night we were far better. We're the best we've played all season. We got on the ball midfield. We tried to drive forward with it instead of just lumping it forward. I know we did knock it forward a few times, and it went back to Shamrock Rovers. But Patchen, I think, on a few occasions got on the ball, tried to drive forward. A couple of times he tried to play a through pass and it was cut out. Once, one pass he overhit. Fitzgerald came on, done the same, drove at them, got crosses in the box. And I think if we can execute what we did last night against Shamrock Rovers, if we can execute that against Drogheda, then we'll have a chance of not only getting a draw, but hopefully 3 points.
How do you see it? You going for 3 points for Derry?
I'm going to go for a draw. I don't think we're playing well enough. I think Drogheda have 7 points on the board. They're full of confidence, especially after the 4-0 win against Longford, and they'll be coming to Brandywell full of confidence. And I just think Derry, because Derry haven't had that win yet, the confidence levels won't be as high as what Drogheda. And look, I hope I'm wrong, and I hope that we do get the 3 points, especially in front of cameras and RTE. But I'm going to go for a draw in this game.
Cian, how do you see it? 7 points between them in the table. More pressure on Derry, I would suggest, obviously, going into this one.
Yeah, all the pressure's on Derry.
Not more pressure.
I think all the pressure. I think it's a must-win game for Derry. These are the games you need to be winning. I know Drogheda are 7 points on the board and have done really well and have a really good squad. But at the same time, this is Derry City we're talking about in recent seasons. We should be looking at Derry winning these games. These would be the games that you'd pinpoint Derry to win. Look, it never works out like that. It really doesn't. And at the start of the season, Derry be looking at this game and looking at the Longford game, let's say, and say, right, that's where we're going to get Waterford. Yeah, Waterford. This is where we're going to get our 6, 9 points, whatever it is. So they'd be really disappointed. I'm going to say Drogheda are going to win this. Now it's just because I just feel like they're nasty, and I just feel like they have that nasty streak about them, and they have that bit of they're a bit wide, they're a bit clever about them.
Deegan gives them that as well, I think, doesn't he? And Massey.
I never really rated Deegan. I told you that before.
Yeah,
But,
I have to say, though, in his defence, he has performed well so far this season, I have to say.
Like, he's done well, and I can't see anything past the draw of the win. I just feel like they're nasty. I feel like they're going to be, like Derry have some young lads in the middle and stuff like that. I think they're just going to get bossed around. And I hope, hopefully not. I really do. I really hope not. I hope because, if things keep going the way they are, Declan's probably going to lose his job. And, I don't like that. I don't like the thoughts of that. I think Decky is a proper Derry City man. And I think for years, Derry City fans have been calling out for Derry City men to be in the club. And you have one now, you're probably going to run them out the door. So, I think
that's exactly what's happening, Keane.
Yeah. So, that's personally, I like Derry City personally. But I'd be more wanting a win for Decky more than anything else.
Same here.
I can't see them getting it against Drogheda. Look, I think the best they can get is a draw. But I just fancy Drogheda. I just think they have that bit of bite about them, and that's that bit of bite. You'll say yourself, JP. That's that bit of bite that Derry don't have at the minute. And they don't have that like cutting edge. They're not forced to everything.
Yeah, definitely. I think sorry, JP, go on ahead.
I think if you looked at the team selection last night, I think I had one eye on this game. Alexa Thompson and Harkin on the bench. I think I think the back four. We played with a back four last night. Now I don't know whether it was because we were playing Shamrock Rovers, we decided to go to a back four, or if it's because of the previous 3 games. But I thought we were more balanced with the back four rather than the back three with 2 wing backs. And if it was me, I would be tempted to keep the back four with the same back four, because I thought they were excellent. I just really hope we get the first one on Friday night and set us up nicely for going on to Dundalk on Tuesday.
I go for a draw myself. I think Derry might just do enough here. Shamrock Rovers and Longford Town. Obviously, Longford were beaten 4-0 by Drogheda, and I didn't realise at the time I had checked, but this is the last game Longford would have wanted after losing 4-0 against Drogheda, Keane. Yeah,
definitely. Look, it's at the same time, though, it's a sense of excitement.
Yeah.
These are the games you want to be playing in, that fourth division is a grill, and, they've got themselves out of it. This is the pinnacle. You're playing Shamrock Rovers. Look, they're now by no means they're playing Real Madrid or anything like it. But these are the games you want to play in. So as a Longford Town fan, you might be counting your blessings a little bit on Sunday. You are on Saturday, you want to be getting your feet blessed and everything. But you'd be saying to yourself, these are the games we want to play, and these are the games we want to pip ourselves up against and put ourselves in that position. So all the pressure's on Rovers. Look, Longford can go there and enjoy it. They lose 4-0. It's a win-win type of game for Longford. If they lose 4-0, they would say, oh, that's expected. And if they do any better, they'd be like, well, they put in a good performance there, So I wouldn't be too critical on Longford. They're not going to be pipping themselves up against Rovers for anything, really. They're not going to be looking to get points off Rovers to the point of the season. So I'm gonna go for a Rovers win. I still don't think they clicked into gear. I really don't. I don't think they're anywhere near it. I think they played some really good stuff last night, and probably the first time I've seen them play a lot of stuff. I was listening to Bradley the other day, and he was saying something about enough chances to win 2 games against Sligo. Like I couldn't go over that. I was looking at
last
that.
5 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, like I was shocked. I was shocked, but I was looking at the games, and I think Rovers, the first time Rovers got on the ball. Now, I think Derry let them a little bit, and you can understand that the midfield, they ran the show without Derry putting a boot in, let's say. So, we've seen a bit about Shamrock Rovers, but we haven't seen it all yet. And this could be a tricky game. They need to have Graham Book. They need to have these players that's going to just that moment of magic, because Longford are going to go there, and Longford are going to be the hardest team to break down, the hardest team to beat,
especially after that big defeat.
Yeah, and you need to have that. You need to have that bit of a bit of creativity to get in behind. I think they have it now in abundance, so I wouldn't be too worried about it. But Rovers will win this, and when I say comfortable, I mean like 2-0, 3-0, but really 2-0 comfortable.
JP, the funny thing is, Sligo Rovers are on 8 points, right? Shamrock Rovers are on 8 points. Yet Sligo Rovers are getting loads of plaudits, and nobody's really talking about Shamrock Rovers. You know?
Well, I think that's because of when you look at the standing of the three teams. Like Shamrock Rovers, they won the league last year. They were unbeaten in the league from September 2019. They haven't really clicked, but I saw last night that they're not far away from clicking. They beat us 2-0. It was comfortable for them, but it was hard for them before that as well. Derry made it hard for them, and Longford are going to make it equally hard for them, especially after the 4-0 defeat. They're going to want to put on a performance here. They showed that maybe that the 4-0 was just a one-off or a lapse of concentration or something like that. But I think Rovers shouldn't take it to the heart, but people are not giving them credit for having 8 points. But
they won't care.
They won't care. But it's great as from a League of Ireland point of view, they have see the likes of Graham Burke playing in our league, because he was, for me last night, he was the best player in the pitch overall. I know I said earlier Ronan Boyce was, but he was from a Derry point of view. But overall, it was Graham Burke. He absolutely ran the show. He was involved in the both goals. And I think Rovers are not far from clicking. And they beat Derry 2-0. I think they're going to beat Longford again, maybe by the same scoreline. And I think they'll not be far away from seeing them at the top of the table.
Yeah, still the team to beat for me, to be honest with you. For me, all round, lads, I think 2-0 or something like that. Shamrock Rovers, comfortable enough. Where are we at now? Sligo Rovers and Finn Harps. Now, this is a big game, to be fair. It's obviously a Northwest derby, but Sligo Rovers actually behind Finn Harps in the table. Finn Harps are second. This is an interesting one. I'm looking forward to this one, actually, Keane.
Yeah, look, massive game. Can't wait to watch this. I'll be watching this after the Pats game. This will be the first game I'll be tuning into, and it's something that this is a game that would really catch your eye. And I think Sligo played a fantastic, amazing, patient football, and Finn Harps are the exact opposite. So it's going to be an exciting game in that way. Two totally different sides going toe to toe. If you're going to call it, I'm going to say Finn Harps will nick this. I just feel like they'll defend well, which they have done. I think they'll perform the way a Finn Harps team performs. I don't think I need to explain myself when I say that. I think everyone knows the way they are now. And I just feel like they might, in the form they're in, because Sligo, people will be off the head if they said Sligo aren't expected to be where they are now. I think Sligo are exactly where they expected to be. And I think Finn Harps are exactly where they didn't expect to be. So, I think Finn Harps would be delighted with that. And I feel like Finn Harps can actually nick something here. Look, I'm Sligo's biggest fan. I really am. Liam's biggest fan.
Yeah.
But there's something about Ollie in this team that's very likeable. And, I can see them getting 3 points out.
Interesting stuff, JP. It would be a bit of a surprise to many because of the style Sligo playing, but Finn Harps are a big physical team, and they really are. Like, people say things like that, but they actually are a big physical team. And Sligo do like to get the ball on the ground. Finn Harps will, they're going to be dogged in this game, and they'll hope Adam Foley is fit, to be fair, to give them that outlet up front. I have a feeling he will be. I don't think it was a serious injury by the looks of it at all. But they have played a bit of football, particularly counter-attacking in games this season, and done that very well. How do you see this one?
I think what we've grown accustomed to seeing from Ollie Horgan's teams is that he knows how to stop teams that like to get the ball down and play football. He doesn't make it pretty. He makes the teams play the way he wants to play. We've seen it down the years that teams will come up against Finn Harps and they don't like it, so they panic and then they start to play the same way Finn Harps play. But I think what we've seen this year, the past years, is that Finn Harps can get the ball down now, where before it would have gone from left back, right back, up. It would have bypassed the midfield, but now the ball sometimes they're mixing it up now. They're mixing it up. They're going forward. They're using the outlet of Adam Foley, but they're also getting it in the midfield and the likes of Barry McNamee and controlling games that way as well. So this won't be easy for Sligo Rovers. It definitely won't be. Finn Harps will be hard to beat against any team. It's the hardest game of the weekend to call. It really is, because both teams are in good form. If this was at Finn Park, I would be saying Finn Harps, they won it. But because it's not in Finn Park, it's really, really hard to call. Look, it can go anyway. It can go anyway, but I'm going to go for a draw. I really am. If it was in Finn Park, I'd be saying Finn Harps all day long, but I'm going to call a draw on this one at the Showgrounds.
I'm laughing because I'm going Sligo, so that's 3 different. One of us is going to be right, basically. Guys, finally we've got Dundalk and St.Patrick's Athletic at Oriel Park, and the rumour going around, if Dundalk are beaten here, that could be it for the management team. At the moment, Pat's are 9 points ahead of Dundalk after 4 games. We've said it before, but Pat's lucky unit. Keane was talking quickly there early on in the video and saying how when things aren't working on the pitch or are working off the pitch, that they can translate on the pitch. And Dundalk are clear evidence of that, Keane, so far, I think.
Yeah, look, Dundalk need to win this. There's no question about it. It's the best time Pats could play them.
It's also dangerous.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it's dangerous at all. If they changed the manager last week, then it's dangerous.
Yeah.
But I honestly would have zero fears, and I do have zero fears going to Oriel on Saturday. Yeah. I know I'm a Pats fan, the biggest fan. I'll back the team no matter. I'll give us a chance against Barcelona. But I would. That's the way I am. But I genuinely think this is the best time to play them, considering maybe players aren't happy. Maybe something's not right. Of course, something's not right. We know that. But, maybe players aren't happy. And if they know that manager's 1 game away from, see you later.
Usually that's it.
Could Pats get a win that way? I would like to think, though, personally, Pats have enough about them and Pats have enough quality to be able to go here now and be able to win the game on merit. And, I think we're not going to concede an awful lot of goals. The Dundalk have some really good players. They're not creating chances for a start. And Pats just can't. Pats just seem to have that knack of being comfortable in games. And we're very comfortable against Bowes. I think Bowes got 1 chance.
That game.
Really comfortable. Rode a look a bit against Drogheda. Really comfortable against Rovers for most of the game. So, I'm going to think Pats can actually go here and get 3 points. Just on the back of how they're playing. And, that was
it's a team against individuals at this minute from what we've seen today, isn't it?
Oh, you're looking at the way Pats are playing. Now, the Derry game is the easiest they're probably going to get all season. They're not going to get a game like it again. They really aren't. And, they need to kick on now. And this is a great opportunity. Even if we get a draw out of this, considering you have Waterford on Tuesday, you have Finn Harps on the Friday, and then you have Longford the following week. So you're going to games where you're on paper, let's say, you'd like to think you pick up your fair share of points. Whether you win all 3 or draw 2 and win 1, you're going to pick up points. So, I think Pats are in a really good position at the minute. I don't think they're going to stay top of the table. Look, I'm not fouling anybody. I don't think they're going to stay there. But, if you win this game, people are going to start talking. It's early days. Look, in 5 games' time, Stephen O'Donnell could be getting run out of Inchicore. It just happened so quick. And that's the way things happen. I wouldn't be... I'm never one to slate a manager or anything like it. But I think this year you got to balance a little bit better. We're not the finished article. We're not going to be. But I just fancy us to go to Oriel Park. And I said it to you, Keith.
Yeah.
If someone offered me a draw now, I would not take it. I would not take a draw right now. And now that's mad. Someone, you're going to Audio Park, and like, I'm not being funny. I think Derry would even fancy their chances at this minute in time. So I just think Pats are going to nick this, and I don't think it's going to be pretty. I do think Dundalk are going to have a lot of the ball. I think Pats might go ahead, and then Dundalk will have a lot of the ball. But I can't see them breaking down this Pats defence. I just think there's something about it. I'd love to see Paddy Barrett play centre half over Sam Bone, for example, for this game, especially coming up against Paddy Houben. Not that he's done that, but I just feel like it's a massive game for Dundalk, but it's not a massive game for Pats, because obviously you want to pick up a point or pick up 3, but with the game's coming up, it's not a must-win. Do you know what I mean? So I think Pats are in a great position going into this, and I think all the pressure's on Dundalk.
JP, how do you see it from a complete neutral perspective here?
It is a must-win for Dundalk. Like, I think if it's true that the management team are basically one game away from being, I don't think it's a matter of one game. I just think it's, if they win this game and then get a result against Derry, I think if the next game they lose, I don't think it's a matter of getting one win and turning it around. I just think it's the next game they lose, whether it's now or in 3 or 4 games time, they're out the door. And you can see it on the pitch. With Derry, you can see that it's probably the quality that we have. Dundalk don't lack the quality. It's they don't know who the manager is. The negativity from the boardroom is feeding down on the pitch, and you can see it. And it's a total opposite with St. Pat's. They've got a manager. They know who the manager is. They've got an identity. They know what way they want to play, and they make it difficult for teams. And St. Pat's are going to make it difficult for Dundalk, especially if they go in front. I think this Dundalk team might be okay if they take the lead. It's when they go behind, they don't know how, because they don't know how to get back into games, because they're not creating chances to get back into games. They've got one of the best strikers in the league, Patrick Houben, and they don't seem to be able to get the ball and then get chances involved in the game. And I can't see Dundalk winning this. I really can't. I'm going to say St. Pat's win, but my gut feeling is probably a draw. But I think St. Pat's will win it.
I can't see St. Pat's losing it, to be honest, either, because I just think their unity there compared to Dundalk, and I can't see Pats suddenly not looking like a unit in a week and Dundalk suddenly looking like a unit in a week. So I'd say at least a draw for Pats. I'll go for them to nick it. Hopefully I'm right. Have we all gone Pats, yeah?
Yeah.
They're not winning now. Guys, thanks very much for coming on. Really enjoyed that as usual. Fair play to you. Thanks a million.
No bother.
Brilliant.